Hello everybody. It's another wonderful 4th of July. Actually, this is your quiz today. Yeah, I didn't put those on yet. This does drive around. It's back in the garage. Why don't you guys walk around the old version of it, the non-running version of it, and I'll be right back. Before we get into our car quiz today, remember I said I was going to a car show and I'd take a bunch of pictures and show you? Okay, so here goes. Ready? That was it. No, I'll put them up later. I'm kidding. It was actually kind of fun. I don't remember how many cars were there. Several. Took a picture of every car that was there, and ironically, there was a bunch of 57 Chevys and a couple 56s. No 55s. Old Corvettes and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. A lot of the cars I've seen before. I mean, you're on an island, and there's not rarely new cars come in, but you know, when they do, and this one is new, and George's T-Bucket's new, people want to see them, and so next month I kind of have to take this down there, so you'll get to go for a ride along and stuff like that. So your car quiz. Let me look at your answers and see how many of you guys got it correct. It was seat belts, if I remember correctly. No, it wasn't either. Caught you slipping. That was last week. No, actually, it was the week before. It was power windows and how they were going. And some of you, most of you guys came up with it correctly. Packard. Are you kidding me? I thought I'd stump you for sure. You had Packard, right? And then you got into Chrysler. Good job. And yes, it was hydraulic. Electric over hydraulic, but it was hydraulic. Which, did that surprise any of you guys? It'd be hydraulic. Lincoln had them too, the same way, hydraulic. In fact, the lines and stuff under the door. Have you ever had to work on one of those and all the switches, limit switches, and it's man, they're not fun. It's almost as bad as the braking system on a Bentley, like a 90s Bentley that uses like brake fluid, and also I think the suspension system is integrated into that. Brakes, suspension, and something else are all integrated into the into like brake fluid. I think the brake fluid is like green, almost like ethylene glycol, like antifreeze. Anyway, I'm getting out there somewhere. My buddy had a Bentley R and we were messing with it, and I wanted to throw a blown big block in it and he wouldn't let me. It was a long time ago. That's for another story. Anyway, good job. You ready for your video questions? Here we go. I'm going to read them off. Hold please. Hold. I got to get to... I'm not so good with tech savvy stuff. You guys know that? But I do like you guys a bunch. So, here we go. Car quiz today. And the answers for Dodge. No, all right, kid. The answers are great for Dodge. Here we go. Quiz. Ready? 41 Pack Kevin L. Aloha. 41 Packard was the first year of the power windows. They were hydraulic system powered by electric switch. Good job. Yes, they were. Chrysler used left-handed threads. Oh, that was right. I did the threads. I was surprised how many of you guys picked them up, and there was some in here I didn't even know about. Which is great. I love learning, so this is good. That's why I do this, because I pretend like I know everything, but I really don't. Chrysler used left-handed thread lug nuts in the late 30s. Nash and Studebaker soon followed, and they were on the left side of vehicles. That's true. Ford also used them in the 80s, and that's the one I figured I'd stump you on. On the F-350 and 500 series trucks. Also some 3/4 tons had them, and I broke several. In my research, not 100% sure, but it looked like GM used them on the Pontiac. True, they did. Be safe and see you soon. And they actually, Chrysler was smart. They put an L, and actually, I think most of them had the same L stamped on left-hand threads. What was really funny was to, if you had a buddy that was a Dodge guy, was to swap the front hubs. Oh man, it was hilarious watching them snap studs off. Oh yeah. I know. Yesterday, by the way, I drove this car around probably 20 times or more around my block here. I just kept making loops, different directions, and that it goes up to like 200 and then comes back down to 180, and then heats back up and goes to 200. So the thermostat's opening and closing, and this old walker is actually working good. That's with no radiator cap. It didn't lose anything. It doesn't leak. Everything's going good. I had an issue with my battery, and my wife's kind of mad at me because I don't know if your wives are this way. I don't know why I'm going off on this tangent, but my wife loves me and loves the fact that I like to work on cars. And she gets into it with me only because I'm into it. But she's constantly harping on me not to buy crappy stuff. Just spend the money and don't be so cheap and buy the right stuff and quit settling. And I used a cheap battery in this, and she actually had to come jump me about, 4 or 5 houses away down the street, or I would have pushed it home. And she wasn't happy about it, but she laughed at me because it was raining and no back window and I was getting wet. And then, anyway, long story short, I still need to set the timing. That's nothing to do this. Okay. Good job, Kevin. Thanks, buddy. Next, Harnet's Garage. Aloha brand. Packard came out with them. Hydro-electric power window system in the 40s. In 1944, it's 41 Packard 180 series. I didn't know it was the 180 series Packard. Ford followed Packard in 41, the hydro-electric system using the Lincoln Custom. That's true. And 7-passenger sedans. That's right. The limos had them. On to the left-handed threads. They were only on the driver's side and were supposed to stop the left side wheel nuts from coming loose. So the thought was when you stopped, the centrifugal force would make the nuts loosen up. So if they did left-handed threads, when you hit the brakes, they would, on this side of the car, driver's side of the car. Because the passenger side of the car, when you're going this way, rotating, you stop, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, right? On this side of the car, when you're going forward and you stop, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, which would become righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. Say that 10 times fast. Don't really. It's a tongue twister. But that was their thoughts. Centrifugal force. Did it work? I don't know. I often wondered about it, and I didn't check to see if it's true. Maybe you guys can fact check me. Actual fact checks, not internet fact checks, but fact check. The spinner knockoffs? Like old Corvettes had knockoffs, and some of the race cars had knockoffs, and they were basically a hub. So they were basically a 5-lug or how many lug adapter that bolted to your front hub with your brakes, and then it had studs on it or pins that mounted to the lug nuts where the lug nut holes were, and then they had a giant nut that wedged it in tight with a spinner. It was like a threaded, your hub stuck through the wheel and was a threaded hub. And the Corvettes came with a giant lead hammer. If you guys don't know that, like in the 60s, the early 60s Corvettes, when they went to the Stingray, if you had knockoffs on your Corvette, like 63 and on up, you had a lead, like a 10-pound sledge lead hammer in the back. And I remember I was at a tire shop, and I was probably like 18, and a guy, his name was Rod, came in with a 65 Corvette that he yanked. It was the original 396 car. He yanked it out, yanked the original 4-speed out. I think he put a Jericho in it, and like a 540 or something, but the car was mostly stock. But he did like some custom suspension. He used to road race that. Then he got into drag racing, but he was road racing it, and when he wasn't road racing it, he drove it every day. I think he was an attorney. The car was jet black, and he had the stock knockoffs. And I remember he comes out there, and I'm like, the guys had already knocked off the wheels and stuff, and they were changing the tires, and I was putting them on. And I got there and was hitting him with this hammer, and he just opens the door, walks out of the lounge, and goes, "Excuse me," takes his jacket off, and he's in it like a business suit, takes his jacket off, and he grabs a sledgehammer, this lead hammer, and he just stands back and boom, he's hitting these things, and they're moving so tight. And it dawned on me that this is the only way that wheel stays on. And he said, "I'm telling you, if that wheel had come off driving down the road, I would come back here and kick you between the legs," what he said to me. And I was like, okay, good to know. So he's like, "You're a big boy, beat on this." And I put all my weight into it, and I forced all of them around. I think I got an extra quarter turn on all of them. But what I don't know, and the point of this is, did they have on the driver's side of race cars, like the ones running Le Mans and whatever, like Ferrari and those guys running spinners, did they do left-handed threads on the driver's side? And I think IndyCar even uses nuts. Are they left-handed threads on the driver's side for centrifugal force? That's something I want to know. Somebody tell me. Because I just now thought of that. And, you guys want to know what's in my brain, right? Sure you do. I'm amazing, so why wouldn't you want to know? Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. The back, let's see. Supposed to stop the left side from coming loose. Any pre-1975 Mopar had left-handed threads on the driver's side wheel studs. First, learned this by watching my boss try to undo the left rear wheel nuts on the back of his 66 Charger. Someone already changed the front to right-hand threads, and he's having trouble with that. That's funny. Studebaker had left-handed threads from at least the 20s until 58 or 59, I believe. Packard did as well. I knew that since they owned Studebaker at the time. 65 and older Buick, Oldsmobile, Pontiac had left-handed threads as well. I'm enjoying these quizzes. Have a great night, Eric in Canada. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that, buddy. I didn't know that about the BOP from 65 and older. I'd run into a couple of them. I guess Huh. No, that's true. The GTO I built, it was a 66. I'm thinking back in my brain when I was right out of high school, or in high school actually. The neighbor across the street was building a tri-power 66 car. 389 4-speed. And I helped him go through that car. And I put torque thrust on it, like original torque thrust before they did the torque thrust 2s or Ds. These were like the original. Anyway, a long time. That's right. And were the Buick fin drums left-handed threads? Because I put those on Model A's. You know what? I don't think I ever ran any of this stock original lug nuts in any of those cars I was doing Buick drums on. Because those come off like the early ribs, like 64 ribs and some other stuff like that. I think I always just swapped the studs out and just took for granted that they were, wow, I know that. So I'm learning. Think about this. I'm learning about this. So thank you. One of the reasons I love this. Iron Horse Garage. 65 was the first year of production altered wheelbase. We got into that. You're right, we did. Thank you, buddy. 62 B bodies, or actually even earlier cars, had 413 cross-ram 4-barrel manifolds and dual 4-barrels. That's right, they did. And I have a story about one of those I'll tell you later. It involved propane. And we put a boost gauge on it to see what it did. Imagine that. It was in a truck. It's a high school. We call it the barbecue. I know that question is over, but I couldn't resist. I know. 413 max wedge. Oh, this all became the max wedge era 413 and 426 non-Hemi wedge engines. I know. Until the 440 block turns their place in 66, the RB block, the raised block did. I know that question is over, but I couldn't resist. I know. You Dodge guys are so crazy. I can respect that. Now, first production power windows were in the 40s and possibly Packard or Ford. I believe they were hydraulic, but Chrysler also had electric windows in the 40s. They did also. Now the lug nut question. Chrysler was known exclusively for left-hand lug nuts on the driver's side of the car starting in the 50s. The idea behind it was forward motion of centrifugal force wouldn't be able to cause the lug nuts to loosen up. Dodge quit left-handed threads in 73 for cars and earlier on trucks. And a lot of 8-lug trucks had right-hand threads all the way around. That's true. I don't remember why. I think Dana, the axle manufacturer and whatever, they were sending complete units. Because Dodge and Ford and Chevy all used the same differentials for a long time before they got into corporate stuff on the big trucks, like 1 tons and 3/4 tons. And so, I mean, when you're using a Dana differential or whatever, they're just shipping them in pallet loads because they're all the same dimension. Maybe you guys didn't know that. Is that another car quiz? No, it's not. I'll give you the answer. A quick tip is to look at the end of the stud. Chrysler usually stamped L on it or R. But wait, there's more. GM also used left-handed lug nuts and early stuff along with Studebakers and quite a few others. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We covered it already. Good job. Ironhead Garage. I know the 40 International trucks had left-hand threads. I didn't know that. I think it was driver's side. It's been a long time. But I did snap them all trying to do the stock wheels off. When you're building your hot rod truck, Chris, that's awesome. John Lomar Tire. Not gospel, but I know Packard in 1940 developed a hydroelectric window mechanism. It caught on and introduced this system in their vehicles. The full-on electric windows are in Chrysler in 51. That's true. Also for lefty threads on the left-hand side from about 30s and through sometimes 72, but older. But 72 because under braking the wheel nuts supposedly come loose. My brain is too old and don't get upset if I'm incorrect. Man, mine's the same. I have a hard time reading small print. I get it. I totally am right there with you. Empty Pockets Garage. I did the same thing when it came to my 2 reading materials. I got you, buddy. Robert's Garage. They ruined Jeep. Ha ha ha. I can concur. It did. Chrysler ruined Jeep. It also ruined Mercedes. Oh, did I say that out loud? First power windows were in 19... You know what I don't understand is how could Iacocca have gone from being awesome to... Well, he's a business guy, so when he was with Ford, he was a visionary. I guess he did with Chrysler too. The K car ruined everything for everybody. Dodge. Stupid Dodge. First power windows were in 19... we have minivans. I know soccer moms are super stoked about it, but, who cares about soccer moms? We're talking hot rods and muscle cars. I was telling, who was it? Oh yeah, Half-Assed Garage. I was telling you remember, about how Nancy Reagan had the Say No to Front Wheel Drive program. It was not nearly as possible as the Say No to Drugs, but or as effective because nobody listened. But they did. Reagan was into 2 doors only, 4 speeds, and no front wheel drive. The first Chrysler, 51 Chrysler, just remembered how... Oh, hold on. First, Brian Kinnear says, first power windows in the 41 Packard, and they used hydroelectric system. The first all-electric system was in the 51 Chrysler Imperial. I just remembered how aggravating it was changing the tires on my mom's 70 Valiant. Left-handed threads were on the left side because the wheel rotation kept the lug nuts tight. Nash, Ford, Studebaker, Jeep, Rambler also use the same. The new Porsche Carrera Spyder has the same feature, and the center lug on each wheel is color-coded. Red on the driver's side for left-hand threads and blue on the passenger side for right-hand threads. I didn't know that. That's awesome. Thanks, Brian. Say hi to the girls for me. Hi, girls. Aloha. Full support, my friend, and always love seeing... Oh, Nova Guy says, full support, my friend. Always love seeing the car is a true 200. Just asking. He meant 150. Yes, it is a real 150. Thanks, buddy. Fuel Fire Garage. Mikey says, sorry, Teach, my dog ate my homework again, so I'm turning in my late. Mopar stands for Old Pig Ain't Running. I have a story about a buddy of mine. He was trying to wire his Chevy. You know that Chevy and Dodge have the same firing order? They do. 1-843-6572. It's the same as my birthday, ironically. But Chrysler wires the cap the opposite direction. So he was trying to do his 454 in his pickup. 1-843-6572, following because he knew it, but he was wiring it the Dodge way. And it wouldn't run. I went over and switched it around and fired it up. It's funny. DeSoto. Chris told me. You're right, Chris. DeSoto. That was the one I couldn't think of. Thanks, buddy. Play with horsepower. Most old parts are recycled. Oh my gosh. Mopar. Okay, don't get mad, you Mopar guys. I know you guys all know this is in jest. And we love you anyway. And I'm not partial to anybody. In fact, yesterday at the car show, I'll tell you about this. Yesterday at the car show, there was a 69, numbers matching 130,000 mile white. No, 68. White with stripes, Mach 1, 394 speed car. The second owner, and it's a girl, she was driving it. And she's had it since the 70s or whatever, but it's been over here since the 90s. But it was like an original owner, 100,000 mile, 394 speed, and the license plate even says 394 speed. And it has 4 tailpipes, just like the Bullet car, but it's white. Man, is it cool. Oh, I saw it pulling out, just like thump, 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 thump. I like Tri-5s, you guys know that. I like GM stuff because it's cheap and easy to work on. But I have a soft spot for anything like Chargers and Cudas and... No, not a duster. You can right in the round file with a duster and a dart. Toss those things in the trash. But Cudas and same thing with a Nova or a mullet Camaro or a mullet Trans Am. The good parts cars for everything else. But I love that. That Mustang was so cool. I like fastbacks. See, they should never made coupes. They should have all been fastbacks, Mustangs. All right, next, here's your question, kids. It's been 20 minutes that I've rambled on, and here you go. This is an Oldsmobile question. What year and what vehicle had the highest torque rating for Oldsmobile? And I'm talking, I'll give you a year range. Prior to 1975, we'll go that way. What vehicle was it? What was the horsepower and torque range, but which had the highest torque range? That's what I want to know. And there's so many other details about that I could get into. But well, no, I'm just keep it easy on you guys. Oldsmobile question. What engine size, or what engine was it? What vehicle was it in? How much was the torque range? And, what was it? The highest torque range? What was the numbers? Let's get technical, because I like BOP stuff just as much as I like just about it. I like everything. So, and I've forgotten about this car. So now I'm telling you, that's your quiz question. I will see you Sunday. No, I'll see you Wednesday for more stuff about this, because we'll update it. I'll probably do a little car show stuff. I don't know when I'm going to do the car show stuff. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. But that's it for your car quiz today. And in case you guys were wondering, see, it's just starting to go. That's been on for a while. Runs good. There it is, the 4-speed. Gotta have it. Yeah, and those of you who's wondering, yeah, it drives actually really good. Drives great, brakes work good, clutch works good. I really couldn't be happier. I cannot wait to get this thing legal and go. I tried to get a hold of Haggerty Insurance, but they won't cover me here in Hawaii. So I'm going to have to do Grundy or somebody like that, and maybe do liability on it for a little while until I can get it ready, because it is the company car. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, I'll try and maybe weed out some of this junk, but I got to get the lights and stuff ready. Anyway, aloha, happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day, and to all you guys that served and have family that served and got this freedom for us, man, and just keep this going. I can't thank you enough. Like, we are indebted, into this. You guys, we owe you guys. Aloha, love you.